It was terrifying. We were part of a group for the Media Association with the BBC Media Action Training. As we are preparing for the upcoming snap election, we had a refresher training that was organized at the Lolam building. So it was at the last floor of the building. It was towards the end of the workshop that we were experiencing some shaking. We all went under the table. There were about 6 to 10 people in the room at the time. I can't recall, but we were under the building. Someone was shouting, "Jesus, save me!" in Bislama, and then it felt like a long time, but it was just a few seconds, and then it stopped. We came outside of the building. There was water all over the place. There was electrical ropes falling from the roof. Walking downstairs, there was concrete on the third and second floor. Walking down, and that was when I realized, like, the house was shaking. I felt like the building was about to tilt over. It was because of the concrete that were falling on the third and the second floor. Outside, we work outside. People were rushing up, and they were jumping over this guy who had his leg broken and was lying on the ground. And I had to talk to some. I have to ask. We asked some of the journalists that were with us. We asked them to help the guy, and there was this person who had a vehicle who works in the building. I assume, I don't know, but if he was the one who drove the injured guy to the hospital. After an hour, because we were all rushing up to the higher ground, and that's to the Independence Park. We had to go through a bicycle. We had to go through a crowd of people just rushing up. And after an hour, we came down to pick up our stuff, because most of us just left our purse, left our phones, left our laptops. We just ran out of the building. We were like, thank God we're safe, but we left all our gadgets. We came back down, but all the area was sealed off, and we weren't allowed to go in. But when we were outside talking to the security and the Vanuatu Mobile Force, there were a number of vehicles just rushing up to the hospital with people who were injured. We had to walk down and see people who were on the Billabong building that was stuck in the building. Some were already dead. So it was a very traumatizing and terrifying situation for all of us at the time.
Yes, definitely such a frightening experience for you, but we are glad that you are safe. Can you tell us, Lillyrose, what are you hearing from people who you've been speaking to over the past day or so who have perhaps lost their homes or even their livelihoods?
Just today, we went to some of the communities and talked to the people, and some of the communities still have people who came from like different low-lying areas and went up to the community grounds, and they're still there. They're still sleeping there. So we spoke to some of the parents, we spoke to some of the grandmothers, and they were saying that their kids were very frightened. They had this traumatizing experience, and they didn't want to go back to their homes. So they were camping outside under tents, and they had to set up tents outside so that people can actually spend the night in open areas, because we still have a number of aftershocks that is still happening. To just a few seconds ago, we had another one. So it's still happening, and there's also warnings that have been put out because of the landslide and all that. So people are scared to go back to their houses, and some have actually spent the night in community grounds like at Beverly Hills and at Takape Runabout.
Yes, so we have been seeing, as you spoke there, pictures of people either in tents or just in the tarps that are just covering where they are sleeping as well. So it gives you a sense of how difficult the situation is. And for people in that situation, how are they getting, basic necessities like, sanitation, food and water?
It is very difficult, and it's because the priority of the government at the moment is to rescue a lot of people. So it is up to the community leaders to work together. While we were there, we spoke to a couple of community leaders, and what they're doing is just finding ways in how they can support the people, providing water, people just buying bread and just share with them. But they also got some food from their houses, so they're using like at Beverly Hills, there is a kitchen that was given to them for them to actually cook their food there. But the communities help each other; they help each other out.
Okay, that's good to know. And can you tell us how our rescue efforts are progressing? Because we have seen emergency teams rescuing survivors from collapsed buildings.
Yes, it is going well. We're grateful to our partners who have helped the government to actually do a lot of work. They've blocked some of the areas and clear up the roads because of the landslide, where it is very dangerous because of the big rocks that were falling on the road. So they have blocked that. They've cleared some of the roads. They have filled some of the uneven roads. So now it is accessible for people. A lot of people are now having treatment at the Villa Central Hospital. We have lost some lives, but we're thankful for those who have been saved.
Yes, and we're also hearing there's a possibility of even a cyclone or at least heavy rain. How concerning is that in the context of rescue and recovery efforts?
It is very concerning because, with the earthquake, the uneven roads and the already damaged infrastructures that we have a couple of bridges that have entered huge damages. So it is very concerning. And also with the landslide, more rains that is to be expected, it will be really huge risk for the people in the low-lying areas. So the National Disaster Management Office has been giving out advices, have been informing people because there are health concerns. There are also people well-being and the safety of the people is of a concern because there are a lot of communities around the area in Port Vila who are low-lying areas. So they have been giving advices to move up in line to higher grounds. There have been restrictions on traveling into Port Vila, and also there have been a curfew that was given, that was imposed from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So there have been restrictions, but also it is very troublesome. It is very worrying for some communities.
Okay, well, Ni Vanuatu, such as yourself, are a very resilient people. So we wish you all the very best and your nation well in recovery. Thank you so much for your time speaking with us.
Thank you.